losing touch. Need you to save me, save me. I feel safe in your arms. Wanna stay with your heart. I'm losing touch. Need you to save me, save me. I feel safe in your arms. Wanna stay with your heart.
trying to understand all the blood that's on your hands. Your silence is deadening me. Your silence is scaring me. In spite of the memories, your silence is all I need. Pretty little pictures on the wall, it's just a shame you don't see it all. I got my pretty little knife ready for your life. It's just a shame you won't get your fill. Pretty little pictures on the wall, it's just a shame you don't see it all. I got my pretty little knife ready for your life. It's just a shame you won't.
Well. Once more into the breach we go. Evan, happy to have you on the desk here with me for the final game of the ESEA League regular season. Storm Surge versus Dotland. How you doing, buddy?
We're feeling good, I just had to be here, I've been feeling under the weather for the past couple days, but that wasn't going to stop me from being here for Storm Surge's last game because obviously I want to see how this story ends, right? And I'm hoping we get a happy ending, and we could definitely use that because if, we're going off of what we saw on Tuesday, things have definitely not been looking good, but, I guess that's been a consistent theme for the season for Storm Surge, but we definitely saw some of these negative aspects rear their ugly head again on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think Tuesday maybe just maybe the vibes weren't there. Maybe the preparation wasn't fully fleshed out, and honestly, it is tough to kind of have these last few games where the progress is huge here at the end of the season to not go your way. But one final chance tonight against a tough opponent to really show what you're made of here in the main league as Storm Surge prepares for Crossfire Season 4 starting next week. So it's going to be a very, very interesting one here tonight. Like you said, I think with this being the last game of the season, it's important that Storm Surge make this one count.
Yeah, for sure. I think you just need to get that bad taste out of your mouth because, I mean, like we're about to see, we have some highlights from that game on Tuesday. There wasn't really a lot to say. I mean, it was kind of over before it even began, really. And it was this guy for Chuck E. Cheese, this RA7 guy who was just absolutely frying. Like, I mean, we've seen a lot of Counter Strike over these last couple weeks, but I don't think I've seen a guy absolutely dominate and pop off like this guy has. This was legacy game stuff for Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, I mean, RA7 might have had one of the better individual performances we've seen on stream so far here at True North Studio. It's unfortunate that it had to be against Storm Surge in a really important match for them, at least from a morale standpoint. But I think, even though they only walked away with a handful of rounds, there's definitely always stuff to take away and to look back on. Here's just an amazing, one of the best clips of the night right there in that pit position, RA7 with that off. But like I was saying, good to just take away stuff from that game and kind of focus and hone your skills and prepare yourselves for tough competition coming up within the next couple weeks.
Well, it's always a good learning experience as well. And I think on a map like Inferno that typically Storm Surge is very comfortable on, like it is, their favorite map, you can say, quote unquote, unofficially, officially. And maybe it is good to have some struggles on there where you just get the belt, so they say, right? Maybe to just, maybe just sort of like wake you up and make you think like, oh, maybe there are things we need to work on. Let's get back to our fundamentals and get better from here, because clearly there is still some progress we need to go on. And like you said, with the opponent coming in tonight, they're going to have to make sure that they're ready for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both of these teams are going to bring in some heavy hitters tonight as we take a look at the lineups for the evening. It's the usual suspects on the side of Storm Surge, Desolation, Doyle, Punisher, Cubed, and Konzi. Meanwhile, over on Dotland, we're going to go with Zoid, Zaris, Frisco, Chris, and from our research, Daniel Payne has been their flex sub for a majority of their ESEA League matches. So all of these guys bringing something interesting to the table against Storm Surge tonight. It's super important that I think, as we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, as we approach Crossfire, it's important that Storm Surge can hang with these guys and be a part of these tough, close matches, and to kind of hone their skills for these best of threes.
No, it's true, and I think that's something that I noted down as well. Is what questions do Storm Surge need to answer tonight in regards to this Crossfire season? Because we've talked about the group stage for Crossfire and the teams that they've been matched up with. Like, let's be honest here, these are some very tough opponents. Like, these are some advanced teams, or in some case formerly advanced teams that have dropped down to main. So the competition is steadily rising, from this main season, and Storm Surge gonna have to be ready for it. And I mean, with the performances that they've had lately, it does kind of make you question, are they ready for this next step? I'm hoping that this game tonight gives us a little bit of insight as to where the team is, if they've had a chance to sort of rebound from Tuesday and get better. But again, it definitely does beg the question, is what does this team still need to do to make sure that they can, sort of squash all these narratives around them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to communication, and it really comes down to the calls that Desolation makes and the trust that you have in your teammates, right? We've seen it plenty of times this season. Like a call is made, a site is being hit, and maybe there's a tiny bit of miscommunication, or a util is thrown wrong, and it really affects your teammate kind of entering onto the site. It's really about kind of honing your executions, I guess you could say, and understanding how the enemy team is being played, and trying to disrupt them early on in the rounds, especially if you're on that CT side, right? Being able to disrupt the Ts before they can get into into their set plays, I guess you could say.
No, it's very true. And I think the other thing too, like you said, just getting back to basics, but also just finding your drive again, finding your swagger
Yep.
again, just get something going again where you just know that, you are the guy. Because we've seen instances where Storm Surge, they have been able to, step up like that. They have been able to make big plays that really impress everybody. So we just have to find that once again. But again, a lot of questions to be asked. And I think a big question is, where are we going to play tonight? That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, it is the final game of the season. I think you and I were hoping to see something a little bit different tonight. No Inferno. I think we can confidently say that we will not be on Inferno tonight unless there is a absolute miracle in play from the side of Dotland. They seem to ban Inferno out all the time. So I don't think we're going there. I don't think we're going to go to Overpass either. Both teams haven't really played it too much, especially Storm Surge. I don't think they've managed to touch Overpass this season. So those are the two, I think, definite no's. We have a couple unlikely choices that we've also picked out.
Yeah, I think Dust 2 definitely on that list. I mean, the one time we saw Storm Surge on Dust 2 was another one that just did not go well at all. I mean, it was pretty much a wash from the very, very beginning. So this is something I'm not expecting to see tonight. Same with Nuke. I mean, we have seen some fairly good games from Storm Surge on Nuke, but it just doesn't really line up with the veto patterns from Dotland. So I think that's most likely going to be one that gets banned out in the process. But again, you never know. And obviously with all these map veto segments, we want to shout out Counterstrat always as well. Thank you guys for sticking with us for the entire season. It really does mean a lot, to us to get all this intel for these streams. I think it just makes us seem so much smarter, doesn't it?
I know,
when we get
right?
a map pick correct. It makes me feel good when we can accurately guess. I'm hoping we can get at least one more for the road tonight.
I think so. I think we will have one, and we've kind of gone through our no go, our no fly zone maps, a little bit of the unlikely maps. That leaves us with three. It leaves us with Mirage, it leaves us with Ancient, and it leaves us with Anubis. Now, we're looking at Storm Surge specifically. They haven't played Anubis yet this season. We know it was brought in just a little bit later into the season, so I think I'm gonna go with Mirage tonight. I think it's the more likely pick. We've seen Storm Surge play Ancient, and it hasn't gone too well lately.
Yeah, I think I'd also go with Mirage as well. But I could also see the argument for an Ancient because, like you said, it hasn't gone well recently, but we've also had a decent game from Storm Surge on Ancient. So we've had sort of a, one or the other. It just depends on the day. But I
Yeah,
think we're being told that we're ready for the reveal.
we are. Let's
So
see it.
without further ado, oh, look at that. Look at that.
There we go.
Well, well, well.
One more for the road.
Counter
One more for the
strats
road.
right again.
Yep. I
Who would
mean,
have thought?
it's I think a little bit. It's comfortable for Dotland, and I think Storm Surge. It's a map that they really want to get down. They really want to understand and keep it as a mainstay in the rotation. And this is super important. This is super important for Crossfire, right? You need to be able to open up your map pool against these teams coming up, right? It's no longer best of ones. You have to be able to play a handful of maps to a high level. So opening up Mirage, and they have Inferno in their back pocket with Ancient as a third. That is a super comfortable, kind of three maps that they're able to maneuver around. And yes, you're probably going to be forced into some unlikely stuff in Crossfire, but at least you're kind of honing your skills here, like we have talked about plenty of times in this pre-show, to kind of get ready for the higher end teams coming up.
Yeah, and I think with Mirage as well, I mean, this is a map that a lot of high-level teams can play very, very well, so you want to make sure that your Mirage is very refined, and like you said, you open up that map pool, because, yeah, like in a best of three, you are going to be put into uncomfortable situations, and maybe that does involve, opening up Dust 2 again. Like, you are going to have to start working on your overpass as well in Anubis, because these are maps that other teams aren't going to be afraid to pick into, and if you have no experience on them, you're not going to have a chance, really. So you just, it's so important to get some positive momentum on these maps that are favored by these higher level teams, and it all starts tonight. I think I might give the advantage to Dotland on paper just because this one is a bit more favorable for them, and we haven't really seen a I don't want to say dominant, but we haven't seen a very solid performance from Storm Surge on Mirage, at least on stream. So I think unless I see that, unless I am convinced, I might give the slight advantage to Dotland here, but I don't know, you never know. I think with Storm Surge coming in with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, I could also see that, propelling them to a win.
I think I want to say that this game, unsurprisingly, the very end of the season, on paper, looking at, performances from both teams throughout the season, I think this has to be the most equal matchup that we have seen all season long. I mean, both teams coming in at the exact same record, both fighting to just walk away from this main season with something to be proud of. And I think I am going to lean slightly towards Storm Surge once again, but again, just wouldn't be surprised if Dotland makes this really close and it kind of tips in either way at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that definitely is a good way to say it. I think this one is going to be close. I'm maybe like a 13-10 or like a 13-9. I don't think they're going to get blown out like they were on Tuesday. At least I hope not. I think that would sort of be the worst case scenario for the end of the season, and that sort of sets a bad precedent for where we're going next. I hope it'll be competitive. I think it will be competitive, but yeah. I think we're just going to see, and obviously for the season finale, we want a really good show. I mean, every good season of television has a good season finale. So I mean, we have a lot to live up to.
Yeah, I think like you said, it's always exciting when there's a good ending. I think this is going to be a good ending, but we will have to figure out how it all goes down very soon. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to get into this final best of one here in the ESEA main division. Storm Surge versus Dotland coming up. Well, well, well. We told you it would be long. Here we are. Mirage. Our final match of the season. Storm Surge versus Dotland. It's going to be a entertaining one. Knife round to start us off, Evan, like usual.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this multiple times through this season. Nothing really gets me excited to watch Counter-Strike that's some ritualistic sacrificing happening for our entertainment.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Storm Surge is going to win, so get to see where they want to stay on the map. It looks like they're going to elect to swap over to the CT side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I hate that to start. I mean, I know
No.
there's a lot of talk about like how, you know, some people will say that Mirage is more T-sided, some people say it's more CT-sided. I sort of lean more towards the latter of the two. It always seems like if you can have a solid CT start on Mirage, at least get to like 7 or 8, you should be in pretty good, like in a pretty good spot for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think it really allows you to stump your opponent, right? It really makes your opponent kind of think twice about their aggression. So we can see Dotland is going to take a heavy presence towards this A site. Not a ton of reinforcement going on here. Daniel's going to have the smoke lined up. The flood out of Palace is inevitable. Kanzi is going to have a lot on his plate here. He's going to get smoked out, though. Here they come. Cube, though. First headshot onto Zoid. Chris with the trade. The bomb is going to go down. This is going to be a 4v4 retake for Storm Surge.
And that's just great patience and great utility coming from the side of Dotland, smoking off jungle and Tetris, just giving them all the coverage that they need to get this plant, and they are just really locking this site down. I don't think there's really much for Doyle to do, and we're just going to end that line of conversation right there. Dotland, the A execute comes through, and they find their first, and they're now looking for more.
Yeah, just a man advantage on the site. The aggression into CT right there for Dotland. Just going to find one pick and kind of snowballs from there. Not a lot of ways back into the site, especially when the T's can group up in numbers and just shoot a million bullets from that Glock. A bit more of a regular round here through the mid. The T's are gonna go. No real contesting from the side of Storm Surge. Desolation. Is he going to be able to find a kill onto Baldy? He's not. The 5-7 not gonna pay any dividends here. And now Dotland just has so much presence all over the map, and Storm Surge has no weapons to really retake this, and Frisco is gonna make sure there's not even a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you have to say, I mean, there's not really much to save, but this, like you said, this is an impossible retake. And I was just thinking about Desolation in that situation. What did he say in that interview? It says, whenever I go against the 5-7, it one taps me, but whenever I use the 5-7, it's like somebody replaced my bullets with peanuts. And I mean, we kind of saw that happen in real time. And I mean, I'm kind of surprised that Dotland got away with that. I mean, you're aggroing B, you're making tons of noise. Desolation is in a really good spot, boosted up near apartments, and just unfortunately not able to come up with anything. I mean, obviously you talk about weapon disadvantage. Yes, that is a factor, but still, I mean, when you're in a situation like that, you should be expected to find at least one, but unfortunately it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, that would have been a really, really big pick, because that kind of makes things awkward on the side of Desolation. He can get his hands on Baldy's Mac 10 there. Once again, the weapon disadvantage for Storm Surge more than likely going to cost them a third round here. They're just going to run the same thing over again. Zoid and Baldy, headshot on Fonzie. Doyle finds one with the dualies, unable to find the second. Chris through the wall with the scout. Gonna find some good value. Punisher, though, he's in a nice spot to make a play here.
Yeah, and this really is the round that you really need to fight for. Like you said, Punisher in this advantageous position is going to have some reinforcements coming through as well. This flash going to make things a little tougher, so his position is going to be known. You could say he does maybe have a... Ooh, that's just very bad timing. Desolation not aware of the active frag grenade coming right for him, and because of that, you don't have the manpower to retake the site or the time either, so he called it. It's going to cost Storm Surge a third round, and I think this is going to cost Punisher if he decides to exit this door, because Daniel Payne waiting on the other side of that for the exit. I mean, he doesn't even have to move. He's just going to use the last bit of his util.
Not only that, he's closing at the end of the round there. Just when he thought he was safe. Can take a look at how this kind of went down. The execution so similar to that second round right there. Dotland able to escape with a third, and now Storm Surge, their first chance at a round here with full rifles in play, and Dotland is just going to heavy presence over towards A. Storm Surge, they should make quick work of this read as soon as they clear out this top mid. Here they come through the connector. They understand what's about to happen.
Yeah, Cube is going to need reinforcements as soon as possible. I mean, this is like Gandalf showing up at Helm's Deep at the end of Two Towers. They need all the help they can get. Daniel Payne laying it down through the smoke, and once again, Dotland just aggressively getting these bombs down, and I just think Storm Surge just been overwhelmed by this aggression. They just don't have any answers for it, and looking a little lost, quite frankly, and already on the back foot. That's the fourth save, or fourth concede in a row to start this one, and if you keep letting Dotland go flawless here, you're really going to get into a dangerous position.
Yeah, it's super important that Punisher and Kanzi stay alive right here. They've invested so much into this round. Dotland collapsing on them from almost all sides. Konzi can hear them running up top cat, and two players standing outside of the apartments here. Punisher's gonna find one. Able to stay alive right there, so keeping the rifles in play is going to be really, really important here. The first tactical timeout coming in for Storm Surge, and I like this call.
Yeah, this was something we didn't see on Tuesday. A lot of struggles in that game and no timeouts called by Storm Surge at all. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, obviously, I'm just a casual observer and can't get into the mind of a team or an IGL, but I just think when you've been on a bad streak, you just need to give yourself and the rest of the team a chance to disengage. Just give yourself a chance to talk things over, slow things down again. And I think that's what they need right now, because dotland, they've just been running it down. Like, quite frankly, I mean, these executes have been quick. They find their entry, they get their utility down as soon as possible, and blink and you miss it, the bomb's already down, and you're already down one man or two, and good luck at trying to retake at that point. So what Storm Surge needs to do, try and focus on finding an entry, slow the pace down, make dotland play into your hands, but not a good start, as these frag grenades from dotland, they have been finding bodies all night.
It's 2 deaths by frags onto Desolation. It's infuriating. Early on, a little bit of a different pace that we're kind of used to seeing in these first 4 rounds from dotland. Doyle gonna get found out by Zoid. Oh my goodness. Zoid again with another headshot. Frisco with one of his own, and Daniel Payne as well. Clean rounds from dotland here. 5-0 start on the T side. And Chris, Daniel Payne, and Frisco walking into round number 6 completely unscathed.
Yeah, this has just been... I mean, I just got to call a spade here. This has just been a disastrous start for Storm Surge, and I didn't think it could get any worse than Tuesday, but somehow this game has gotten off to an even worse start. And like we were saying about just slowing down the pace, it's just, you just need to take anything you can get at this point, like just any sort of advantage you can get for yourself, and that's a good start right there as Punisher. My God, he made me choke on my own words. I was so surprised he got that double, and that's what you need right there. You just need somebody to step up and make a goddamn play to just get the team out of the dumps, and Punisher was the one to do it.
There to find some good util usage. Don't let this one get out of your hands here. Doyle gonna get tapped out by Chris, trying to keep that perfect 9-0 record alive. Storm Surge, I think it's best to hunker down here, guys. Don't get too greedy. You know that dotland has some shooters so far here in these first couple of rounds, and just because they're low health on one player for sure doesn't mean you can get sloppy.
Yeah, now they've gotten the bomb back as well. I mean, you got about 35 seconds left in the round, and dotland, they got a lot of options here, because like you said, they have shooters, despite the fact that they have the scout in Chris's hands. That deagle has been very lethal for this team, and if you do go for this A execute, it's really going to be up to Punisher as this first line of defense to really make sure that this stays in the favor of Storm Surge. And just perfectly played. Punisher with a 4K in the round finally gets Storm Surge on the board.
It's exactly what you needed. Punisher red hot out the gate, 7-3, leading the way for Storm Surge. If there's any time to do it, it was right there. 2K with the MP9, upgrades into the AK, does work with that one as well. Doesn't matter what the tool is, Punisher is going to get the job done. First round on the board for Storm Surge. Now it's time to make that, not just a microcosm of what you really want to achieve. You need to find sustained success, and it's going to happen now. Punisher finds one, finds a second. Konzi there as well, onto Baldy. Storm Surge, now they are hot. Just have to eliminate and Frisco to find their second, and they are on the way.
Really, really good response there. Able to match the firepower, running it down mid. Now you're starting to get that confidence back in the team. I mean, let's be honest. It was a very rough start for the Storm Surge team, and we've talked about it so many times how much the mental can really impact the team that's really trying to fight, in a tough situation. And I got to give credit to the guys for trying to fight their way back into it, not giving up. Obviously, still a long way to go. I mean, I assume you'll get this round unless Chris just goes
There's no
absolutely
way.
crazy. But without the bomb, I mean, this is going to be a very, very tall task. But I won't necessarily say it's 0. Never mind.
Now it is.
Now it
Now
is.
it
Yeah.
is. Desolation gets the better of Chris right there, and it seems really, I mean, dotland set the pace super, super early right there with some quick sight hits, but Chris has really done the heavy lifting. When you look at the rest of dotland, I mean, sure, Daniel 4-2, of course, you're never going to complain about that, but Baldy and Zoid are in the negative right now. So, you have to kind of understand Chris is riding this hot hand. The rest of dotland, they aren't, quite online yet. So if you can just barely manage to scrape away with an advantage early on if you're Storm Surge, it's gonna really set you up in a solid position. Util dump just gonna be absolutely insane. Ponzi is gonna hear that burn right underneath the window onto bench. Doyle ensuring that nobody can cross this line. Meanwhile, Cubed is going to find the first one onto Chris with a minute 15 left on the clock here in round number 8.
That's what I really want to see. I mean, you talk about the guys for dotland that need to get active. Guys for Storm Surge as well that are not exempt from that. I mean, Desolation 1-6. Doyle also having a very slow start. Cubed finally getting a second on the board. So, yes, Chris is sort of carrying, but so is Punisher. And I think at this point, it's just going to be which team can just try and get the rest, get all systems active. And so far, it looks like Storm Surge has started to wake up a little bit. Doyle looking for the third. Punisher will take it from him, but that's okay. Because now you're looking at a 1v5 for Frisco. He's going to try and run it down in mid. Not going to happen. Another flawless round coming through from Storm Surge, slowly clawing their way back into this one. 5-3 your score. Punisher, like you said, leading the way. Really, really solid stuff from him.
Red hot Punisher. I mean, Doyle here, just beautiful work. Great sprays, great repositioning, and Punisher to back him up. That is how you do it. That is Team Counter-Strike at its best right there. 3 rounds. We've just seen some absolute heaters from both sides here to start this game. One of the more entertaining first halves we've seen so far on stream, and what better time to do it here than the final game. Konzi and Cube's gonna team up in Connector to find 2, and just like that, you're in a huge advantage once again. 2 left on the side of dotland, and Storm Surge, they're feeling pretty comfortable in Desolation. Another op kill. Chris is just gonna wait and see if he can find something, but nothing in his sights.
Well, maybe that timeout did pay dividends. I don't know what Desolation said after that timeout, but oh my goodness, what a 1-2 from Chris. I mean, you can't count that man out when he's got the deagle in hand. He will find some way to make it work, but clearly, like you say, that timeout, somewhere it lit a fire. To quote former Arizona Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon, do you feel a fire in your gut? That's a crazy pull.
That is insane
I'm
pull.
sorry, I gotta pat myself on the back for that one. If you know,
That
you
is
know that is
insane.
actually crazy.
I don't think
But
anybody is gonna get that one. Right. But I can respect it.
regardless, something has awoken in Storm Surge right now. They are playing with the benches. Your best. That would have been a round-changing pick right there. But,
Yep.
I mean, right now, you only have the hero rifle in Daniel Payne's hands. Like, you're in a perfect position to find this tie. And if you can just end the half somewhat in the lead going into the T side, which seems like it's been the stronger side thus far, probably looking at a very impressive comeback win.
Okay, here's my next question for you. As Chris and Punisher are dueling here on the site, reinforcing coming in from Storm Surge. Doyle is going to finish off the job. My question for you, Evan, as Storm Surge ties this one up 5-5, is who is Godzilla and who is King Kong in this battle? Punisher and Chris. Break it down for me here, because these are two absolute titans in this game, throwing hands back and forth. I mean,
see, here's what I'm thinking. I think I gotta give Godzilla to Chris, because unlike King Kong, Godzilla has some range options with his atomic breath, and we've seen how good Chris has been at range with the Deagle. And I think Punisher's just been really good job of just getting up and close, and personal with the AK and just spraying it down. So I think that's where I give Chris the moniker of Godzilla, and Punisher can be the King Kong in this scenario. But that's a tough one. I think that definitely could be up for debate. But like, do you see where I'm? No, I'm always ready to talk about the kind of stuff at a moment's notice. You know me. If I'm able to pull out Jonathan Gannon out of my ass, I'm ready to talk about Godzilla and King Kong. I mean, like, come on, what are we talking about here?
Oh my goodness. Well, it looked early on there that Storm Surge was a little uncomfortable. Kanzi had a little bit of missed utility in the connector there, but equalized by Cubed and Doyle and Punisher, and now Dotland in a completely common position really in these last 5 rounds, down a man. I mean, this B site is definitely the weaker guarded of the two. They're able to sneak up through this connector. Desolation has to be aware that they are no longer in that ladder room. Punisher, though, is going to find one, and the last member of Dotland is going to be confirmed on the site. Chris now, like we said, riding the hot hand. Can Doyle find Storm Surge 6th in a row? He is not able to. Chris shuts him down. We talked about in the pregame how RA7 from Chuck E. Cheese had one of the better performances we've seen on stream, and Chris is trying to one-up him immediately this week. Good work there from Dotland to stop the bleeding and find a spark here, especially down a man late in that round.
Yeah, I think, despite the fact that it didn't end the way they wanted to, I still think there are a lot of positives to take away from that round. From Storm Surge, in control and in the driver's seat for the most part. That's all in the back of a heroic comeback from Chris. I mean, this guy has been producing everywhere for Dotland. I mean, he's been the offense and just everything for this team right now. And once again, finding a big pick, and I don't know how he lives through that fight, and he's keeping Dotland in this one, 3v3. Storm Surge on the outside looking in. The smoke's gonna make things tough. Doyle on the stairs position is good to find Chris, so 2v2. These numbers keep falling. Doyle good for another. Good to see him start producing all up to Frisco. No util for the side of Frisco. Flashes and frags for Storm Surge. Won't even need them. We find ourselves tied at half, and I mean, all things considered, that's a really, really positive thing for Storm Surge to have had happen.
Unbelievable. I mean, we're talking about 2 5-0 runs. Dotland to start, Storm Surge to follow up, and then Dotland breaks the 5-0 run with a man disadvantage, and Storm Surge right there makes it 6-6 in a disadvantage position. I mean, you really could not ask for a better half of Counter-Strike right there, a more competitive one than what we just got. Storm Surge, gotta bring this one home. Starts here in the pistol. They're gonna lean towards B here, unlike Dotland on their T side, leaning towards A.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say pressure, but if you can find yourself coming out of this pistol round on top, I think that really starts to swing the momentum in Storm Surge's favor. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, 5-0 lead getting just blanked. And really, I mean, that round that Dotland got, that's all on the back of their best player. I mean, like, if that doesn't happen, we would be looking at a 7-5 half for Storm Surge right now, because they have just absolutely taken control, and so is Q. 3 in the round for him. Really, really solid stuff, but need a little bit more to get through this one. Frisco, Daniel Payne trying to lay down the pain on Storm Surge on B, all up to Frisco. Creeping his way up through the site, trying to clear as best he can.
He saw him.
I think they saw him just barely. Frisco gonna swing and not gonna happen. You cannot stop that man. Cube with a big 4K to give Storm Surge the lead. Finally, I'm not gonna acknowledge that.
Come on. This is the first time I feel like all season.
No, come on. This is no way.
I
Not
think
the first
so.
time. Let's get
I
Prod.
think so.
Let's get Prod to double check that. Yeah, if Prod gives us a little caster pit, maybe we can do it for the fans. If that's even something we can do.
That would be.
I don't know. I'm asking a lot.
Quite the on the fly.
My God. He's on it right now. Hey, you gotta hurry. You got a minute 38 seconds to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Storm
Where's the pit
Surge.
even gonna be?
It's gonna be no pip.
Oh, gotta watch this. Gotta watch this flank.
Yeah, this is a quick flank here. Have to be aware. Desolation is gonna get picked off. Now the pressure is on Storm Surge to hit this site. Conzi is gonna find Frisco though. That's gonna get the bomb down for Storm Surge. Deagles and Galil in the hands of Dotland. He might take a crack at this, but Cube is gonna shut down Baldy, and now in the disadvantaged position, Dotland have to make something happen. Punisher is gonna shut all that down, and Chris brought down to low HP once again. It's just gonna fall in the hands of Storm Surge here. Oh, nice work from Kanzi on the drive-by right there to secure 8 for Storm Surge.
Yeah, I mean, really, really good stuff there. Again, it just seems like they found their groove. I mean, what did I say in the pre-show? They need to find their swagger again, and they did. You know, it's back. I mean, they're playing with a vengeance. Why is it just me? Why is it, the moment has passed. The moment is all right.
Yeah!
The moment has passed though. It's 6-8. You got to be a little quicker than that. Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
come on,
a little bit quicker, but it's the thought that counts.
Sure,
it's the thought that counts.
You know,
Come
anything for the viewers. I mean, hey, I'll give a shout out to the viewers in chat right now. We got a fairly active chat right now for our season finale. So shout out you, dear viewers, for being here with us and enjoying this final match.
Ask for better Counter-Strike.
It's true.
On the final game of the season, Baldy is gonna find Punisher. It's a super important pick for Dotland. Gonna bring them to a 4v3 now. Storm Surge trying to get a lot of control in mid. That's gonna potentially smoke Frisco out. Yeah, that is gonna smoke them out. They have to know, have to find it. Cube does. 3 now.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Baldy. That is the very definition of a spray and pray. I mean, Doyle's going to get things back on track with a crazy flick of his own. Now this 1v1, the storyline has never been more perfect. Chris back in the clutch situation. Oh, I think it's Chris and Doyle again.
Oh my goodness.
This 1v1 on B. I mean, we are getting history repeating itself. Let's see if Doyle can find a happy ending this time. Oh, he does spot Chris. Oh, but once again, and Chris is going to spray the body just to rub it in. Another clutch. HP. Another clutch from the heavy hitter of Dotland, keeping them in this game.
I can't believe that Chris not only had the reaction to notice Doyle right there, but to have the confidence just to swing right back out and take that kill. I mean, what a huge momentum shift right here. Baldy with 2. You think the round is completely over, and Doyle with A1S in hand makes it as close as you can possibly get right there. Storm Surge now, 4 AKs on their side. You can see Desolation has full util and a Tech 9. That is potentially an indicator of the op coming to play in the in the near future, but this is going to be a quick A hit here for Storm Surge. Oh, and Chris.
Wow.
I mean, finds one, but
Frisco's the one who's really comfortable. Still uncomfortable, but Doyle's going to be good for one through the smoke. I think if you're Storm Surge, you really need to try and right the ship here to break this econ of dotland desolation. Ooh, you tell him, young man. You shoot that body. 9-7 now, and like I was saying, that's really, really good to put that econ for dotland into a tougher position than it was before. Storm Surge, right the ship, and find round number 9.
That
Oh,
is
so we get the
absolutely
face it,
insane.
I think we got the face it bug now.
Oh,
What a,
yes, of
what a
course.
terrible time for that to happen.
Wouldn't be a stream here in the ESEA League without a nice bug. It is
It's
what
true.
it is. There's
Oh, there we
nothing we,
go.
can do. Oh,
Wow.
beautiful. And attack timeout. It's like they knew.
Thanks, guys.
It's like they knew. Beautiful work from Storm Surge to really lob and help us out here. I mean, it's unfortunate that the bug even exists still. It's been a whole season, guys. Let's get to work here. Fix it up. But it is going to allow us to take a breather after some crazy rounds of Counter-Strike going on here in the second half.
Well, I think we were right in our prediction that this was going to be a close series.
Yep.
And I think this one definitely will be coming down to the wire. Again, I really think that this lead for Storm Surge could be so much bigger. I mean, both of those 1v1s, I mean, I really think those could have gone the other way, man. Like, Storm Surge, they've been the better team for the majority of this game, and you got to give credit where credit is due that these hero plays from dotland have been keeping them in this game for the most part. Storm Surge just needs to try and lock it down, close this one out, end the season on a high note. Yeah, like you said, finally the frags for Storm Surge finding some bodies after what seemed like forever. The bullying that dotland was doing in this game, not coming back on the CT side. Storm Surge dominating. They find double digits first. Look at Punisher, man. So inspirational. 19 and 8.
Unbelievable.
Like,
and Doyle as well. 17 and 10. I mean, the individuals on Storm Surge have all had their moments here in this game. Something we have not seen a whole lot in this season. Just so many things it feels like have fallen apart at the seams. So many games lost. Just the most inconvenient and unconventional ways. Now with a 3-round lead, all they need is 3 more to secure a win here in the final game of the season. This looks like a execute onto the site here for Storm Surge. Smoke's going to come in. Chris going to get flashed once. Going to find headshot onto Konzi, and Doyle trades him back out. Daniel Payne, though. Cube, they're just going to keep firing. Zoid has the op in his hand. The bomb is going to go down by Punisher. And now the retake is on for dotland.
still a little bit of util to work with. You have one molly in the hands of Punisher. That really could be critical in delaying this, but you might not even have to worry about that because it's all going to be up to Frisco. Finds one with the op, but another frag kill coming through from Desolation gives Storm Surge closer to the win here. And not just a win, I mean, just a vote of confidence. And we were talking about is that how good would this be to prove that they can play on Mirage, which, like we said, is going to be something that is important as you look towards something like Crossfire. And I've been very, very impressed with how they've responded thus far. And I mean, if they could just tap into some of this magic that they've shown on the T side, this is going to be a map that if they can like really refine this, they're going to be very, very strong on.
Yeah, this is without a doubt the best that Storm Surge has looked on Mirage this season. Punisher,
Just can't miss.
the confidence at an all-time high. Gonna find the headshot onto Zoid in the window, and now they have control of window and jungle. Doyle, have to dribble there, buddy. Gotta check your corners. Ponzi's gonna have to follow through there, and Chris is now gonna get pinned because Punisher and Desolation are gonna swing out on the staircase and cubed. Just gonna wrap this one up. Storm Surge now. Uh-oh, Fonzie. Don't get ridiculous here. Knife comes out.
Oh
Okay.
no,
Baldy finds the
guys.
second kill, but I think Cubed and Desolation understand the gravity of this situation. They're not going to let this one happen, surely.
Oh, why would you even say that?
Surely.
I mean, Baldy does have a kit, so I mean, this would have to be an Okay, I was gonna say that. That looked a little scary for a second, but Baldy almost making it happen. Not gonna happen that time. For Dotland, Storm Surge find themselves at match point. I mean, I don't know how he, like, I mean, last bullet, he gets the reload off as well. I mean, like, you gotta call it out. I mean, like, some things have just been landing for Dotland tonight. Yes, they're losing, but it's been a lot of wacky stuff that's been going their way.
I think they started out so hot, right? And then you just think you're on top of the world, and to lose 5 in a row, that shatters that confidence. Desolation. Speaking about confidence, started out, I think it was 0-5 or 0-4 potentially, and he's able to really rally the troops here. And oh my goodness, another frag kill. I mean, guys, this is absolutely insane.
Well, there's not much Punisher can do in that situation there. Kanzi, it's a lot he can do. As he finds Frisco, Daniel Payne, and Zoid, the last two left standing. Desolation gonna get this bomb down. Last chance for Dotland to try and salvage this series. Gonna be a very tall order. Zoid, oh my, come on, don't do it to him,
Oh,
Kanzi.
no.
He's gonna find the knife. Just put a little cherry on top, why don't you? Daniel Payne gonna fall. Well, Storm Surge, a resounding comeback win. Down in the dumps, find their way back on top. 13-7. What a way to close out that season.
Beautiful.
I'll clap as well. Very nice, very good.
Cinema, the perfect way to end the season. Head held high. I mean, what a match, Evan. I think
Oh yeah.
it's only fitting that that is the final match of the season here in the ESEA League. I mean, what a way to end it. Everyone had their moments. It looked a little shaky at first, but you don't get a better storyline than that, down 5-0 and coming back to win 13-7.
And not just like barely scraping by either. I mean, these were very, very resounding round wins from Storm Surge. I mean, how many times did we see them come out on the other side with 5 still up or 4 still up? I mean, this was just a complete tone shifter from where they started. And I think it all comes down to that timeout. I mean, that's the TSN turning point, I think, of this game, is they were able to just rally the troops, slow things down, remember who they are, and hey, they just rode it to the end. And Punisher with the hot hand, I mean, he's got to be the MVP tonight, I think. I mean, what a performance from him. I mean, we talked to him after the last game that they won, and I mean, it seemed like spirits were really, really high for the team after some struggles, and it's nice to see that despite a loss, they're able to find a way forward from that.
Yeah, I think just such a nice way to end the season and to carry on this momentum. I mean, like, I'm just smiling. I'm smiling ear to ear at the performance here tonight. I mean, this is what Storm Surge is meant to be. This team that shows resilience. They are ruthless. They are ready for any possible matchup. This is the team that, without a doubt, has a chance at making some waves within Crossfire. The season just not going the way that they really, really wanted to. It's super unfortunate that it ends here, but you have to keep your heads held high going into this next tournament. And I mean, we talked about it with Desolation early on in the season, and seeing the steps just being built after every game. I mean, sure, you get knocked down a couple of times, but just to really feel this sense of we can actually do this. We can hold our own. We can shoot with the best of them. I mean, what an absolutely fantastic performance tonight from Storm Surge.
Yeah, I think it's just a well-rounded performance on all sides. I mean, like, that's really the best way to say it, right? Like, it's a complete team win, and if they could just play like that every time, I mean, Crossfire, you guys got to watch out. I mean, they got some shooters on this Storm Surge team. If they could just play like that every single time, so it's a really positive way to end the season. Like I'm really happy for the team, and I'm glad that they were able to find some positive momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to some of those early games, right? They started out 1-0. We didn't get them on stream for that first win, and I believe they lost was it 2 or 3 of our first covered matches, and it was just it really felt like they needed a spark, and they did find that in a 3-game win streak to kind of even it out, kind of that midpoint, that midway point of the season, and to really keep building off of it. I mean, you lose a couple of games in the mid part of the season as well, and you, you have to feel, so so much better at the end of the season than you have at the start, right? And we're gonna get a chance here. Just getting word that we are going to get an interview with Desolation, so we're gonna welcome him on in. Desolation, how are you, buddy? I mean, that one was one of the better ones of the season.
Yeah, it's just disappointing for myself that we honestly couldn't play like that all the time. But hey, you can't win them all, and I knew this would be a development season. I just didn't think it'd be this rough.
No, for sure, and I think, like you said, it's great to get back, in the win column. I think my first question for you is obviously, like, we'll address the elephant in the room. I mean, you start down 5, you guys take a timeout. What was said in that timeout? What brought you guys back from the brink?
Um, that these guys are playing like an IM team, and to play against them like they're an IM team, where basically the round is over in the first 15-20 seconds, and if we slow it down, we will win out just on the time because they don't know what they're doing. And that's exactly what happened. If we didn't win our initial engagement, we played pretty far back. Like you guys saw, like Dane was basically towards bench, Doyle was towards short, and we like CT and jungle retook A, and that's all that we needed. They fell apart.
Yeah, they really lacked the momentum. I really felt like after you guys took 2, made it 5-2, they really felt like they had kind of lost their footing right there, and it really showed, I think, not only just, I mean, we talked about it before you had joined, but just the resilience of this team and the way that you guys were able to just kind of lock in when it's completely necessary, and to have a player online tonight like Punisher. I mean, you guys all had your moments, but Punisher, it just felt like every round was all over them. What was that kind of like conversation like in the team? Is that more of like a, hey, just do your thing, like we're gonna back you up here, or are those kind of like set plays that you guys want to kind of set him up for?
Honestly, Dane was just kind of feeling it, or Punisher was just kind of feeling it. All he did was he played a best of 3 for Davenport before this league match. So going forward, we're going to have him play a best of 3 pugs before every single match, and that's the goal. And he's going to be fucking golden from that point on. But no, like I think a lot of it, Punisher's a really smart anchor, and he's getting to the point now where like he took over my spots before I transitioned to Op IGL, and like I told them this already, so it's not news, but I think at this point he's a better anchor than I ever was. So I just think his positioning and his like staying alive is really important, and what kind of sets him apart, because he just knows how to play off of his spot really, really well. So it's not like we have any setups for him. It's I just leave him alone and he is able to do everything himself.
Yeah, and I think something else to take away from this game is that it's a great way to sort of bookend the season. Like you said, this is always going to be like a developmental season, right? Obviously, it didn't go the way you wanted, but how like important is it to find a game like this at the very end? You know, you've been through the ups and downs, but to end on such a high note, what does that really mean to the team and like just where we're going next? Because obviously with Crossfire, I mean, that's another big event that's coming up soon.
Yeah, I think it's really good to show that we still kind of have what it takes when everyone is on one. And I think everyone wanted to play this match to not lose. Well, like we wanted to play to win as opposed to not lose. And it's like, okay, like we really wanted this win. We want to go off on a high note, have a little bit of morale before we go into the off season and then into crossfires. So I think, yeah, I think if we had lost this, we'd probably be a little bit more sour. But I think it's really good that we won.
Yeah, I think we had talked about it just briefly before you guys, or before you had joined back into the call here. But I mean, you mentioned it with the development season, right? To kind of have these big ups and downs. I think it's a huge kind of lesson that a lot of teams, go through, and I think it's a perfect kind of opportunity for you guys, because we know that you guys are participating in Crossfire. You guys are going to Vegas eventually, so I guess my kind of question is like, how, besides obviously not making it to playoffs, which is a huge disappointment, like how are you feeling personally about the team, you know, at this point as it stands, as the season has ended?
Um, like, what are my general thoughts on like overall how we did?
Yeah, I mean, results are one thing, but just maybe like, what you've kind of noticed and picked up from these guys this season, and how that's kind of affected you and changed you as a player.
Um, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is we're definitely like the people that we have on this roster right now are very momentum based. So as long as I kind of even notice it, like even if we're winning and we're not playing well, like the momentum will still be high. But if we are not playing well and we're losing, the momentum's a little bit on the downtrend. So we just have to kind of figure out like how to like get everyone activated with like the same goal. It's like, yes, we absolutely, like, you might be having a bad game, we're losing a little bit, but you just saw like we just came back from like a 5, like an 0-5 deficit into closing it out 13-7. So I think I think a lot of it is like mental against self. So if our team can recognize that even when we're down, we're not out until there's a 13 on the scoreboard. I think we're going to be a little bit better for that for sure.
No, absolutely. And obviously, we wish you luck in Crossfire and Desolation. Thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations on the win tonight. I really think you guys deserved it. And I think you, dear viewer, also deserved a really good game to watch. And that's what we aim to deliver here at True North Studios. And what a game to end the season on.
Yeah, really great showing from everybody on the team tonight. I mean, like you said, you couldn't ask for a better way to end it off. And unfortunately, that is going to be the end of our journey here in the ESEA League Main Division, Season 56, covering Storm Surge. But that is not all for us here at True North Studio. We plan on covering Storm Surge's matches within Crossfire Season 4 coming up as soon as next week. So please stick around for that. And before we end things off, Evan, it's only appropriate to thank those who have supported us throughout the season. So our friends over at Counter-Strike, thank you once again for your invaluable information. You make these streams that much better. And to our friends over at Third Sight, thank you for supporting us and supporting the Canadian Counter-Strike scene, uplifting players, organizations, and really kind of solidifying your presence within Canadian Counter-Strike. And we are just so happy to be able to showcase that talent and work with you guys. So with that being said, we'd like to thank the production team tonight. I mean, I gotta look up here as to who is all here. I mean, we had Wyatt Swag Rapson on the director's chair tonight, Carl Varsil Godin in the free cam chair, Miguel Hayes Elnar as our main POV observer, and for the first time and last time in this ESEA season, Adam Mimikyu Chambers as our replay operator. So please give your hearts in the chat for them, and thank you, Evan, for being a mainstay here on the desk this season. Super excited to continue working with you, my good friend. It's just been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, I'm glad we were able to have me, and clearly, excuse me, not feeling the best, but like I said, nothing gonna stop me from being here, and I hope that shows the dedication that I have to this craft. So I think you said it best, Phaser. Thank you guys very much for watching. We hope to see you next week and in the future when we start our journey in Crossfire Season 4. But until then, we'll catch you next time, and have a great night.
So here they come to the first third round here. They're just gonna run the same wheel, find someone with the dualies.
We have a, ooh, that's just very steep. At the end of 2 towers, they need all like just any sort of advantage you can get for yourself, and
Find some good utility.
this stays in the favor of Smart Search. It just perfectly played.
You need to find the same success, and it's gonna happen now. Punisher finds one, finds a
Active. And so far, it looks like Storm Surge has started to wake up a little bit. Doyle
will scream, and what better time to do it here?
said that half somewhat in the lead, just been really good job. Just getting up and close. Definitely could be up for the lead. But like, no.
Find sixth in a row. Oh, dotland is.
Smoke's gonna make things tough. That's all on the back of their best player. Shit. Of a spray and pray.
It's gonna be a quick A hit here for Storm. It's
Really
comfortable.
Right the ship here to break this econ of dotland desolation.
Chris.
In the hands of Punisher. That really could be that because it's all gonna be up to Frisco.
Fonzie. Don't get ridiculous here. Knife comes out. Here they come to the first third round here. They're just gonna run the same wheel, find someone with the dualies.
We have a, ooh, that's just very steep. At the end of 2 towers, they need all like just any sort of advantage you can get for yourself, and
Find some good utility.
this stays in the favor of Smart Search. It just perfectly played.
You need to find the same success, and it's gonna happen now. Punisher finds one, finds a
Active. And so far, it looks like Storm Surge has started to wake up a little bit. Doyle will